Picture this. It's a Thursday night in October of 1987. You're sitting in your living room. There's nothing urgent to do. So you turn on NBC at 9 o'clock because at 9 o'clock on Thursday in 1987, there was Cheers, the Boston bar where everybody knows your name. Norm walks in. Cliff Clavin is at the bar holding forth on something nobody asked about. Sam Malone is pouring drinks. The economy is fine. The S&P 500 is up almost 40% on the year. The volatility index is camped in the low 20s, sleepwalking. There's nothing to worry about. A few weeks later, on a single Monday in October, the market lost 22% in one day. Hello, I'm Ken Carpenter, and this is Invest AI Savvy, where AI powers smart investing. Welcome to Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. Hold that living room in your head. We're going to come back to this in a second. Here's what BuzzPulse found overnight. 154 assets generated some kind of buzz activity. 0 of them cleared the BuzzPulse quality gate. 0 ranked assets, 0 convergence signals, 0 A-plus conviction plays. The pipeline, in what economists call a technically valid but deeply unsatisfying outcome, returned a collective intelligence reading of exactly 0.000. In plain English, the market is asleep with its eyes open, and that silence is itself a signal. It is the signal we're going to talk about today. Quick housekeeping before we go any further. This show is for educational purposes only, and it's not investment advice. Please do your own research and consult a licensed professional before making any trades. Now, let me set the table and contextualize. The VIX is sitting at 18.0, up about 0.7% over the last 5 days. Just to explain, 18 is about as unremarkable as the VIX gets. Not panicking, not complacent, just sitting there like a dog that's not decided whether it wants to go outside yet. Bitcoin dominance is at 58.3%, up 0.6% over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin is quietly holding its share of the crypto world while the altcoins mostly sit on the bench. And the macro calendar this week is empty. No CPI, no FOMC, no jobs number. Nothing scheduled that would explain a sudden directional move in either direction. When BuzzPulse goes quiet like this, what you're seeing is not a system failure. The system ran and it looked at everything in the pipeline. It found out that nothing crossed the threshold. No asset had enough independent signals agreeing with each other at the same time to qualify as a real setup. That's the quality gate doing its job. Now, let me take you back to that living room. Cheers ends at 9:30. Night court comes on after that. You go to bed, you wake up Friday morning, nothing has changed. By August 25th of 1987, the S&P 500 had reached 337.89, up nearly 40% year to date. The old volatility index, the one they used before the modern VIX, was sitting under 30 where it had been camped for most of the summer. If you'd been watching the data the way BuzzPulse watched the data today, you would have seen the same thing the brief is showing us this morning. Low fear, low excitement, a market with no obvious story. Investors went on vacation, cash piled up in money market accounts. The financial press wrote articles asking whether volatility was permanently dead because it sure looked that way. Then in mid-October, the trade deficit number came in worse than expected. The Treasury Secretary made a comment about letting the dollar fall further. Interest rate fears began to creep in. The fuse was lit on a Wednesday. By Friday, October 16th, the old volatility index closed at 36. By Monday, October 19th, it closed at 150. The S&P lost 21% in a single trading session. The single quietest summer in modern market memory was followed by the single loudest day in modern market memory. The people watching Cheers on that August Thursday never saw it coming because they were looking at the same thing we're looking at this morning. A flat tape, a sleepy VIX, an empty macro calendar, nothing to worry about. Now, I'm not telling you that today is the eve of another 1987. I'm not a chart reader. I'm not a market historian. I'm the operator of a system that scans 57,000 stocks and 17,000 crypto tokens every 6 hours. And I'm telling you what the system is showing me at 6 in the morning Pacific. What the system is showing me is a market with no signal. And what history is showing me is that markets with no signals are not safe markets. They are markets where the next move, when it comes, tends to be bigger than anyone expected because nobody was positioned for it. The quiet is the setup. Now, we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. We just do not know when. The watch list tells you where to look, and the greed list tells you where the trap is. Today, both of those lists are empty, which is the system doing its job correctly. When the LunarCrush layer is showing moderate buzz on Ethereum with a galaxy score of 58, SHIB with a galaxy score of 57, and Solana with a galaxy score of 56, all rank scores in the 130s to 180s for all three, BuzzPulse is reading that as moderate buzz, watch for catalysts. That is not a signal, that is a precondition for a signal if the right catalyst shows up. 3 names in the waiting room, none of them called. Here's the concept I want to leave you with today because today is the perfect day for it. The quality gate. People who discover this show sometimes ask a version of the same question. They say, you have a system that scans thousands of assets. How come it doesn't find something every single day? Should it not always be producing signals? And the answer is no. And the reason why is what August of 1987 teaches us. Picture how BuzzPulse actually works. Start with 154 assets generating elevated buzz activity in a given cycle. That is a real moment in real conversation across real platforms. Now narrow it. How many of those names have social momentum that is also confirmed by price momentum? Cut it. How many have options flowing in the same direction as the social signal? Cut those again. How many have a z-score far enough out in the distribution to indicate a genuine statistical outlier rather than routine noise? How many have independent layers agreeing at the same time? Today, none of the 154 assets in the pipeline cleared even the first meaningful threshold. Every path through the filter came up empty. That's not a bug. That is the entire point. A system that produces a high conviction signal every day, regardless of what the data actually shows, is not a signal system. It's a noise machine wearing a signal's clothes. The producers want you to have something to act on every day. They need you churning, trading, clicking, reacting. A system that says not today is bad for business if your business depends on daily volume. This system says not today when the data says not today. Tomorrow morning, the pipeline runs again. The macro calendar is quiet, which means if something breaks through the quality gate in the next 24 hours, it will not be because of a scheduled announcement everybody was already watching. It will be something the crowd has not priced in yet. Those tend to be the more interesting signals when they come. And if October of 1987 is any teacher at all, the most dangerous thing you can do with a quiet market is to decide it's going to stay quiet. Norm always thought the next round was on the house too. The signal is worth waiting for. The noise will always come to you. I'm Ken Carpenter. This is Invest AI Savvy, and that's the way it is.